Louis F.Canady earned membership in the E-Club Hall of Fame as one of the premier basketball players of the 1970s. The 6-foot, 6-inch post player led the Warriors in scoring and rebounding in 3 of his 4 seasons and in field goal percentage twice, and was the team's top shot blocker throughout his career. The Candyman's claim to the Hall of Fame was his quickness and speed and a soft fadeaway jump shot. Despite regularly playing against Division II opponents, Louis averaged a double-double in points and rebounds in a 92-game career, and his career total of 1,306 points ranked him 4th all-time at the time of graduation. In a transitional period in program history, the Waterbury native served as a physical and emotional rock. A 4-year starter and 2-time team captain, Louis missed only 1 game in the final 3 seasons of his career. In his final season, he averaged 18 points and 12 rebounds and shot 54% from the floor.
What made Lou a special player was that his approach and commitment and dedication to the game. He just had this tenacity, and when basketball season came around, he was very focused. And he just really put a lot of effort. He never let up. You never see him cut corners or slack in any way. I mean, he just put a lot of effort into it. His mindset was all basketball. His physical approach to the game was basketball. He was always on time. And he just showed a relentless commitment to the game.
He was a great athlete. My recollections is that he was the fastest guy on the team. He could also jump to the top of the square, which is a real combination of speed and athleticism. He was very strong around the basket. He had a nice little fadeaway jump shot, which really drew defenders out and really created some driving lanes for him. And he was a fierce competitor. He worked hard to get himself into shape. He worked hard on his basketball game. And when it was time to practice and play, it was time to practice and play, and there was no alternatives there.
Physically, I think his quickness was his biggest asset. I mean, he was able to slither through little holes in the defense. They set up a zone to stop him. He'll find a way to get to the basket. I really admired his ability to drive to the basket. And plus, if you got close on him or whatever, or stopped that, he was able to do a mid-range jumper, which is kind of a lost art in the game as well.
And the other thing was he was a great defender. Most of the time, people look at statistics and they see all 1,300 points, and X amount of rebounds. But on the defensive end is where the games are won and lost. And as far as a defensive on the ball defender, Lou was really tough in the post. He could go outside and guard people, and he was a great weak side defender too, because of his great jumping ability. It gave him a lot of block shots. I think as an all-around player, with his scoring and rebounding and defensive ability, the competitiveness thrown in there, and just the will to win, I think he's probably the best player that I've ever played with.
In his senior year, I said, man, he is really playing like an All-American. And, I just saw a big jump from his first 3 years, even though he's very good the first 3. But his senior year, there was just more something to his game that just elevated him to reach that level of an All-American. Yeah, I went against Lou in practice mostly of my 3 years on varsity. And again, he never let up. And I tasted quite a few elbows from Lou. And, all the jostling underneath and things like that, it helped my game as well. And matter of fact, I think because I went against him all those 3 years, I think I made who he is in a Hall of Famer.
Well, yeah, I think, this is a very deserving award for Lou. And I think back in the day when we were playing, I think, the fact that we didn't have these great records on some of these teams, I do think Lou was overshadowed. I mean, it wasn't Lou's fault. The competition level was real high back then. As a Division III school back in the late 70s, we were playing a lot of Division II schools. And Lou was more than held his own, along with all the players at Eastern. So I think that, he was overshadowed a little bit. But tonight makes up for everything. Congratulations, Lou.